Being compliant is just straightforward. Being maliciously compliant? Well, that's another story. Welcome to this episode of Malicious Compliance. Our first one is from Floating a Waste. I twisted and sprained my ankle Monday morning, packing up our camp from Labor Day weekend. Having done this a few times in the past, I didn't want to bother to have it checked out. Who wants to pay $1,000 for urgent care to tell you to rest and ice it? Yay, America. So I went to work Tuesday. I got morning stuff done and explained the situation to my boss. Told him I'd need to take the day because it was swollen and painful, and I needed to rest and be off of it in order for it to heal. He gets in a tizzy because God forbid anybody needs to miss work for anything at all ever, and snaps at me for not planning to go to the doctor. Wednesday I go into work, still limping and wearing improper footwear. I can only fit the injured foot into a crock without unbearable pain. The first thing the boss says is, "Don't you think you should get that checked out? I don't understand why you don't want to just pay for it." I explain again that I've had this injury in the past. It's definitely not broken and, honestly, not even as swollen as it has been when I've done it before. I want to be at work to keep up on things and make everyone's job less difficult. I would just need to take it easy for a couple of days, which isn't a problem considering I can do 90% of the job from my desk, and the 10% slack is beyond easy for everyone to pick up, especially when not being there makes them pick up 100% of it. This gets met with more attitude, so I ask if I'll be getting paid sick time for the day I missed yesterday. He says no, not without a doctor's note. You can visibly see the injury clear as day, and I'm trying here, so what the fuck? I'm fed up by this point, so a little later on I say, okay, and leave to go to the doctor's for the note he wants so badly, knowing full well what they'll say to treat it, and that I'll need to be off of it for 3 to 5 days. After an x-ray and getting the, "Yup, it's sprained, keep doing what you've been doing," I let them know my boss asked for a note for missing a day of work to rest it. Doc asks if I want to be at work, to do what I can and stay off of it as best as possible. I said that's what I've been trying to do, so I'm fine with that. I do have sick time if it would be more beneficial to stay off of it for a couple days. She comes back with a note that I may return to work on September 9th, which would be Monday. I took a picture and shot it over to the boss man. Just the photo. He replies, "What wrong with ankle?" Which I met with no response, considering none is needed. He got his note. I just wanted a day of sick time, 8 hours. Now he's paying me for 4 days, 32 hours. He can't refuse a second of it. Edit to add, I have an HSA and I'm on a high deductible health plan by choice. I'm not losing any real money in this situation, and it was well worth the price either way. I can't believe this boss didn't think that, I don't know, maybe sending somebody to the doctor for a note might actually get that person out of work for more time than what they initially asked. But I guess if they didn't know before, now they know. This next one is by Pine-Scented Sewer Rat. This happened a few years ago, so details are a bit fuzzy, and chat is paraphrased. I was T2 tech support for a company that handles my country's largest ISP's entire professional email services, all its DNS management services, and a large portion of its website building and web hosting services. This company is tiny, minute, not even a blip in the radar, but has power that I will likely never again hold at my fingertips. One day, a ticket comes in from ISP. Big client is moving away from our proprietary email services and into Microsoft 365, or some such equivalent change. This usually meant I got to help the client through the process of changing DNS records, migrating inboxes, or just backing up emails, and even actually setting up some stuff on the Microsoft side. Technically not my job, but the ISP's T1 tech support was woefully untrained for anything even remotely technical, and terribly unprepared for most things merely commercial, and my company was awesome and treated me right. Client is moving from Service X to Service Y. Please remove their subscription from the database. There seems to be some sort of mistake, which was very common. We remove them from there once the new service is set up and running. Otherwise, it will delete everything in their subscribed package, including all email storage, DNS records, and website. You likely want to change their subscription to not include email services, but keep the rest, since your Microsoft subscription doesn't include DNS and web hosting management. And even that, change only after they have their new email service set up. Yada yada, confirm, remove their subscription. Are you absolutely sure? This process is non-recoverable. All their emails, DNS records, the entire website, including database, will be permanently deleted. Request has been submitted. Remove subscription. At this point, it's been a couple of days since the first ticket, so I call my boss over, absolutely wonderful guy and extremely intelligent, and tell him what they're asking me to do. Alright, let's show them. They pay us because we know things they don't. Don't delete the subscription, but suspend all services that would be affected. Keep those tickets at hand and expect a phone call. If they call you, tell them to talk to me. God, that felt good. I mean, I felt bad for the clients because their entire company basically shut down for an afternoon, but when they called my work phone directly from ISP, uncommon, usually just for emergencies, and the nice lady asked me what happened with client in that tone that says, I'm doing my best to hear all sides before making a decision, but I am freaking the hell out right now. And I directed her to the tickets where I very clearly stated what would happen if I did what they told me to, and that I told her to call my boss. I felt so vindicated. Boss later told me to let them sweat for a couple of hours because the process should have been unrecoverable, and then turn the services back on. ISP was, yet again, absolutely thrilled with us, and my name kept coming up even more often as the person that solves things. I'm just shaking my head with this. I mean, if you're seriously asking a company that specializes in all of this to do something, you would think you would want to take their advice when they tell you it's probably not best to do what you're requesting. Glad this person had a great boss at that time. And our final one is from Plogan56. For context, the software development company I used to intern at uses a sheet to estimate the cost of building a certain software or update for a client. This sheet includes employees working on the project, how long they estimate it'll take, yada yada yada. After an intern goes around the departments collecting this info from various employees, we then calculate the cost and send it to the client to accept or reject. Note, since our company is so popular in the area, we have a pretty long query sometimes. So if you reject the estimate, chances are you're gonna have to wait in the queue all over again to request a new one. So the day was slow and they mostly had me man the phones and go on coffee runs, typical intern stuff. Then a client calls in saying she wants a piece of clock-in software for her employees so she can more accurately track their work hours. By this point in my internship, I had done at least 4 to 5 of these sheets at least, and I was taught by my supervisor how to identify which departments would be needed for which projects, so after gathering the details from the client, I hang up and translate the needs for the employees. Essentially explain it in the programmer jargon. Half an hour later, I'm done with the sheet, and I have checked the calculations 3 times, so I email it to the client, and I swear, not even 2 minutes later, I get a "estimate rejected" message on the company smartphone I was given. She added a reply stating, "This estimate is non-compliable with me." So I respond to it with, "We're sorry to hear that, ma'am. Please enjoy the rest of your day." And then I go about my business. Roughly an hour later, she emails the phone again, asking, "Is that all you have to say?" By this point, I realized what she was trying to do and report to my supervisor that Ms. Karen was trying to haggle the price. My supervisor calls Karen's phone and asks if she would like to have the estimate resent to her so she can accept, and Karen outright tells her she wants a cheaper price. To which my supervisor tells her the price is non-negotiable and to take it as is. So Karen uses her signature move of, "Let me speak with your manager," but my supervisor simply informed her that she'd get the same response and just hung up on her. Karen eventually did call back, and even showed up to the building to renegotiate the price, but was shot down. But she was able to get a meeting with the manager to file a complaint for poor customer service and unprofessional behavior. My supervisor and I were called in and asked for our side of the exchange. We just gave them the chat log and proof that she rejected the estimate initially sent to her. She had no color in her face after those came out, and couldn't even look at him. She was given a blacklist for us and recommended other companies. Ah yes, it's sweet when the Karen actually gets what's coming to her, and in this case, it couldn't have ended any better, I don't think. Alright, that's enough compliance for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Malicious Compliance. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.